Got it. Okay. All right. Oh, here we are. We're live. Okay. We are live on Facebook. Looks like it. Let's see. I'll believe it when I see it. Facebook world. Yep, we're live. Okay, make sure we get some volume for all the people out there in Neverland. I see it. Oh, there you go. We're good. All right, everyone. It's the ID84 show live, episode 228. If you hear screaming children in the background, I get them both in here in the office with me. I'm daddy duty for a little while. So if you hear some, my son right now is he got his baseball glove, which I keep in the office, and he's insistent on playing catch with the baseball glove, which is fine, but using a football, not a baseball.
At least it's got a concept of what to use it for.
I go to him. I go find a baseball, and he's like, okay. And he comes back from football. I go, that's football. He's like, yeah, football. I go, no, but use a baseball to catch. He's like, no, football. So he's like a Nerf football. So we've been throwing it around. He's been catching it with it, which is just a weird concept, I guess.
And that Nerf ball hasn't hit any electronic device.
Yeah. No, but it was. I made sure I was the backstop for me was the TV, which probably isn't the smartest thing, I guess. But what are you gonna do? All right, we do get some Moxy here. Did they say Adam's here? By the way, Adam's here.
Yeah, hey, I'm doing all right. Yeah, let's probably ask each other how you're doing today.
Yeah,
instead of just jumping in. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
This stuff was 1884 Moxy.
Yeah, we were talking about this, and my review, if anybody out there has ever had Moxy, it's like this. It first tastes like Coca-Cola, and then it's like, okay, this is bad, sugary, and then it has this kind of metallic-y, horrible aftertaste if you give it like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So our boss had brought some in. So Adam drank his. I have a couple bottles. I drank half a bottle last week, but I had no taste buds because I've been suffering from a cold for the last 2 weeks. Oh, maybe you got the COVID.
No, actually, I took a test just in case because we're before New Year's Eve. But I'm smelling it. It smells like a Necco wafer at first taste. All right, so if that makes any sense. Anyone knows what a Necco wafer is? Those like terrible candies that are like a chalk. Yeah,
the chalk candies. They're not horrible. They're just They are what they are. Yeah, almost like a Tums, and that's like.
You know what? It tastes like a black. Not. I guess they weren't black. The brownish Necco wafers. That's what it tastes like.
Okay. Are you getting that sort of what I'm talking about? That sort of aftertaste?
I'm tasting that metallic. It's weird.
Yeah, right? I
don't think I've ever noticed that before. It's at the very end, at the back of the tongue.
Yeah, once you give it a little while to sit there. And then it's like you can't scrape it off your taste buds.
It's almost like you're licking a putting a 9-volt battery.
Yeah, or a stamp or something. Yeah. Something very bland. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Henry, you want to try some Moxy? Sip. Take a sip. No, you don't want to taste it? You sure? He's too smart today. He's like, oh, Dad, it looks like shit.
He's like, no.
He's like, why would I drink that if you were making such a big stink about it? So he's watching the TVs right now. Did you see Adam on TV?
Henry.
He's waving. Yeah, see, he's waving to you. Say hi. Yeah, he's showing you his he doesn't realize that you can't see that.
I can't see him. Yeah.
But he's holding up his baseball glove with the football in there.
I do have a product review, even though we're not being paid.
It'd just be interesting.
So I know you love technology stuff. I do too, to an extent, but I've always been kind of on the fence about smartwatches.
Okay.
So I wanted something like not with a lot of, because I wanted to not, they can get really expensive. Obviously.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I wanted something that wasn't so expensive to see if I actually like them or whatever. So I splurged a little bit and I bought this Motorola smartwatch for iPhone and Android.
Okay.
And it's called the Motorola 100. It just became available in the US, but in the UK for quite a while. And it's initially $100. I got it on sale for $85. And I will say for what it has, the interface is nice. It's pretty nice, and it has your basic features. It has your fitness features, your heart rate, all that stuff. It has the main reason I wanted it. It has no sound. It has vibration. I can still see all my texts and emails. I can't text from it, but I can at least view them from this.
Okay.
So it has all the stripped down. I can't add apps. What you see is what you get on here. And you know what? For what it is, I will say for only like the $85 I paid for it, I like it. It serves its purpose. It has some good faces I can change. I wish there were more. There's about 6 of them. It has GPS, all that stuff. It's not bad. I will say if you're like me, you're just kind of wanting to test the waters here and maybe eventually upgrade, but you're not sure how you feel about smartwatches. This is a good starter watch. Like I would say, like if Henry was a teenager, or maybe before, I would say like this is probably something for him that might be really good to just kind of test the water on if he actually likes them.
So it's funny. I guess so. I got an iWatch. It probably cost $350. I got it for a gift.
Yeah.
And the only thing I use it for is time.
Yep.
I'll check my text messages.
Yeah, that's
yeah. I'll occasionally I don't text back on it because it never figures it out. The delay's too long. I'll occasionally pick up a phone call on it, but even if it's that, you still don't hear it. It's just very low.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I was using it when I fly because I can get the QR code on it. So but I haven't used that often because for some reason, when they designed those scanners at the airport, they didn't make them so you can put your arm underneath it. There's not enough clearance, so you still got to use the phone.
Yeah.
So basically, I use it for exactly what you using yours for. And yours cost a third of the price of mine.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like if you are very tech savvy and you want to text, like this is not the watch for you. Like this doesn't have it. Like, but I can view them. I can view my emails. I can view everything.
Nice. I can't view emails on mine.
Really?
I get an alert saying there is an email, but as to scroll through and like real through an email, I can't do.
Oh, I can't see the whole thing. It'll show like part of the body, but not the entire thing. And same thing with text messages. It's like X amount of characters, but I can still figure out what you're saying. Like if you text me like less than probably about like every text that you sent today in group, I could pretty much read the whole thing.
Now, does it? You said it does fitness too, so it does like if you're doing a walk or something like that, it'll track your like exercise
and your sleep patterns and all that stuff. All that stuff with the app is still all there.
It pretty much does everything the Apple Watch does, except you just can't add on to it or whatever. Like,
there's no sound. There's no sound.
Is it waterproof?
Yeah.
So you can go swim with it.
Yeah.
So you essentially you can read your text messages on the water.
If I want, I guess so. I mean, I'm not sure if I would test it. But.
I sent the text message on the water when I went swimming over the summer. I was in the pool.
I can't send them though. I can only read them.
Oh, okay. So like I get like obviously you can't talk on the water, right? So you can't like respond back. Yeah,
there's no microphone.
But they have default like things you could scroll to send whatever like that. So I just how often do you send a text message on the water? Probably
never.
Never. Yeah. It's more of a novelty act. Are you okay down there, little girl?
Yeah, hell, for like I said, $85 to $100. I think it's it's a very nice starter watch. I would say if you're wanting to see if where it is.
That's not a bad deal. It'll get your foot wet into the old technology shit.
Yeah.
I think we'll see. You'll probably see a lot more of devices like that now. I think
they'll start coming down because they've been out a while. They'll start coming down.
Yeah, because Apple had the monopoly for a while, and now it's just coming down to everyone's figuring it out.
It's like Samsung ones for like fucking $400. Well, thank you.
I don't think it's worth it. Like Eric had one that it had its own cellular account. So he paid like a monthly fee. So you didn't have to have a phone attached to it. You could just make a phone call from your watch like your James Bond. It has its own number and stuff, which I think is just a waste because how often are you not with your phone when you watch? You know what I mean? In that rare occasion you're somewhere.
It's kind of like I kind of look at it. Sorry. You're breaking up.
Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Breaking up a little. Hold on.
Breaking up.
I don't know if it's me or anyway.
I can hear you. You're good.
I kind of look at it. There we go. You're back. Yeah. I kind of look at it too, like people who have like those giant trucks. They probably have little dicks. You know what I mean? It's like the tech nerds who like need all that shit. And yeah, it's cool, but is it worth paying like $400 for? I mean, it's neat. A lot of it's neat, but it's just unnecessary.
Yeah. Well,
like that big dick, you get a little dick, so you want to have all the fucking cool shit.
Someone said I was listening to this economic guy, and every day at like 11 o'clock on AM radio, there's these two guys that talk finance and stuff like this. And they were talking about how like the worst investment you can make is a car because in Europe, people buy cars just to get to point A to point B. So they don't spend a lot of money in it. And for some reason, in the United States, people spend money on cars as like to show off, like one of those things. And he goes, well, if an average American's making $65,000 a year, it's ridiculous to spend $40,000 on a car. Like it makes no sense. And you can barely even get a car for $40,000 these years. But he's saying like, he goes, the best thing you do is you buy a car and you keep it as long as possible, so you don't have a payment. And he goes, what he said also is like when you buy a new car, it's fun up to the point you get your first car payment. Like, maybe it wasn't that much fun. Maybe it wasn't worth it. Like, for example, like if you go buy a brand new Jeep right now, right, Wrangler, just like a base model is running you like 45, 50 grand, right? And if you put zero down, you're looking at about $800 a month for a car payment. Isn't that ridiculous when you think about it?
It's not worth it. Who do I have to impress? Like, maybe if I was like a lot younger, I would care more. Not so much anymore. Like, I know in places like I remember when I went to Johannesburg in South Africa, and that's actually a bigger importance to people than their house. I saw like giant like Escalades parked next to shanties. Like their car is more important than their home situation.
It's like the housing projects in Revere. You have Mercedes parked in front of that.
Yeah. Well, like I always said a long time ago to you, like I feel like Johannesburg is where we're going. Like we're gonna have like these mansions next to shanties, and it's kind of going that way. You know? Well,
the economic world, if you believe into some of the documentation, what people believe and stuff is that there's like a couple companies that own all these rental places and stuff, and the game plan is they want everyone to rent. They don't want anyone to own. They want people to rent and not have property. So at any given time, they could just say bye and kick you out in the street, I guess. But I mean, to an extent, if that makes sense or not, I don't know. But I mean, that's what it sounds like. It's like, well, people really the idea of not owning stuff. But like at the end of the day, owning a property is usually one of the best investments you can make long term. But it's all about like what your lifestyle is. All right, does it make sense for someone like you to own a house? Probably not. Maybe a condo down the road, possibly. But like, but you're also you have an advantage where you're not paying astronomical prices for rent, where like most of these people are. So like for you, it actually makes more sense in this situation, I guess. But
the thing too is I'm curious to know. I don't know the numbers, but like how many people actually end up paying off their house? I don't know what that is, because I was looking at like you're always going to be somebody else's bitch. Whether it's the bank, you're paying the bank because you have this loan, or are you paying your landlord? Either way, you're someone's bitch.
I think the mortgage is probably, I would say 75%. And I only say that because I think a lot of people buy houses very low. Like if you look at your parents and my parents, they bought the houses in like the 80s and the 70s for like, a fraction of what they was be able to sell it for or sold it for, right? So
that's going to change though.
It's been paid up, right? We'll eventually get to that place where we'll plateau and stuff like this. So like, for example, if you bought a house in the last year, it's going to take significantly a lot longer for that house value to be able to make your money off of it than if you bought it like 2 years. If you bought it like in 2019 compared if you bought it in 2021, your value of that house is significantly different. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, and you're also paying a lot more on your mortgage. So at the end of the day, it's like, it's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? So having a house is like a car, right? So you might as well keep it for a long time, pay it off, and just make payments or make repairs on it as you need it. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm curious to know what the average age to people pay off their home is. I'm curious. It's got to probably be in your 60s, 70s.
I would say it's probably a few years before. It's probably like 60s probably. I think my parents paid their house off. I'll put it this way. All right, my parents bought the house when they were 25, and a 30-year mortgage, so 55. They paid it off. So, I bought my house at 35. I'll pay my house off when I'm 65, essentially, which would be around the time you retire anyways. And if everything works out the way you hope it works out, is that like you sell it for more than you buy it for, and you're able to get, and you're downsizing at that point in your life, right? You're not making anything bigger. So you're hoping to get a smaller condo somewhere that's a fraction of the price of what the house is worth. So you essentially won't have a mortgage anymore. I mean, that's the game plan at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
What is the average down payment? About 30K?
They want about for a house. Well, it depends on how much. I mean, you're looking at, you can get a first-time home buyer's mortgage for, I think it's like 2 or 3% of the value of the house down. But you also carry PMI, which is the insurance that goes along with the mortgage that you never goes away. So you're paying like an extra $300 a month that just goes. It doesn't go towards your equity. It's just a waste of $300 a month.
Oh, that sucks.
Now you could refinance once your house is 20% paid off and get rid of PMI. But in my situation is I got a loan for like less than 3%. Now the loans are going for like 7-8%. So if I refinance, I should be paying more money, so it wouldn't make much sense. It won't be a wash for someone like myself. But like back in the day when like, in the 80s, mortgages were at 13-14%. So like, by the time people stopped paying that off, it was little, but I mean, we only put a few grand down on my house, but at the end of the day, we also have to pay that PMI. So it's like, it all depends how much you have saved up and how much you want to do. But if you're paying like a $7,000 house, 20% of that's some big money. You know, it's like,
well, if you let's say you have an $800,000 house, 3%, that's about 24,000,
24,000.
Yeah, about that. So
that's
we're talking in the mid 20s to 30,000 range, especially in the Boston, Massachusetts area.
And who has that money laying around, especially if you're paying $3,000 a month on rent, right?
Yeah.
Like if like 50 or 60% of your monthly income is going to your rent, who has enough? And then you obviously want to go out and you want to spend, unless you just sit there as like as a hermit for for like 10 yeah, but it's not like you don't do stuff. I
do stuff, but I'm very fortunate in some ways to just kind of
but you don't live like in a lavish lifestyle.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? But you still get out. You're not like a hermit.
I still get out.
Like,
I still get out.
Yeah. Like there's some people that just don't do anything, but a lot of that times because a lot of people just work their ass off, so they don't have any time to do anything. But like that kid I'm working with, who's living at the hotel at the restaurant. Yeah, he's making bank, right? Because he's working 5 days a week. He's only paying like $250 a week to stay at the hotel. So like, and he has no rent anywhere else. So that's his rent, $250 a week. So $1,000 a month, which I was paying for my first apartment like back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can't do anything because you started your shift at 2, so your whole day is burnt at that point, and you get done at 2, right? So you can't do anything after work. So if you need anything done, you got to do that early in the morning, which requires you to get up early. But do you really want to get up that early? You know what I mean? And on your day off, don't you just want to sit there and not do anything? You know, it's like
exactly. Yeah. I love doing nothing. I don't know about you, but as you get older, have you learned to appreciate doing nothing? I would say you're probably one of the more busier friends I have that despite, you got 2 kids, but you still go out and do a lot of stuff. And I kind of sometimes don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
I know probably a lot of alcohol fuels most of it. Yeah. But like, it is pretty both admirable and at the same time, like exhausting to think about. I don't understand how you.
It's probably why I'm sick all the time too, because I don't get the rest. Like for example, like Sundays. I like Sundays. Sundays are nice because I don't really typically do anything. If anything on Sunday, it's lunch at the middle of the day, especially during football season. Really, nothing goes on. It's mostly that's the day. But like this Saturday, me and Eric are going to that hockey game at Fenway, the Frozen. Kind of exhausted just thinking about that day, to be honest.
It's gonna catch you at some point. Age is gonna hit us, man. You can't rock on forever. It'll happen.
I got 45 minutes of sleep last night, so I'm like, I'm feeling.
Really good for you. You and you don't even take Adderall.
No,
I don't fucking do it.
What sucks is I got home from the restaurant early, so I had potential to get about 5 hours of sleep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get comfortable enough to sleep, and by the time I fell asleep, it was like 5 o'clock. Are you all right down there, little girl? She's singing a song. I got about I had to get me through the day was a couple cups of coffee, a chai tea latte, and we call those one of those Celsius.
Which is interesting because you weren't as miserable today as you usually are during the week. Like I said, it's bizarre. Usually, like I said, I don't like you. like Monday and Tuesday, I do not like you. I just don't want. You're very combative in the morning over nothing, but like you start to be my normal friend towards the tail end of the week.
I'll be honest, right? Thursdays get me excited because it's almost the end of the week.
It's what it does.
It's almost like Fridays, like tomorrow will be nice and easy. It's like Mondays suck. It used to suck more when I used to work at night on Mondays too. That was
I know you are a wreck. I don't even want to engage you in the morning at all on Monday, Tuesday. You start to come out of it Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. And then Friday you're fine.
Yeah, Thursdays are great. Fridays are even better. Saturdays are the best. I look forward to Friday nights because I know like I have nothing to do the next day.
Yeah. Edible day.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for fucking edible day. I got my I still have my shit right here. I love these. These are great. These are like they don't taste so good, but I will say they're a fact. I'm not eating them for the taste. They're
right. You're not eating them like candy. You're eating them for efficiency. It's like medicine. Yeah. It's like Moxy was back in the day. It was like cough medicine.
And these are high sativa, so I don't fucking pass out. These actually keep me functioning and really fucked up nicely. I like them.
That's the strand that keeps you energized, right? For the most part.
It does. So I can keep functioning and I can pay attention to a movie and I'll still be laughing my ass off.
Yeah. Are you trying to get on the show? She's over here laughing, and I think she feels a little left out here.
She seems, you know what, your daughter is pretty, in a good way, simple. Like from what I've gathered, like in public, she just kind of does her thing. Like
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it's just from what I've seen and been there for. She just seems
really
like, you know, just
easy
chilling,
going for the
doing her
most
thing.
part. But she's been not sleeping very well through. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, Mama's here.
So did they? I've there's been rumblings, but I haven't seen anything official. Has the NFL canceled that makeup
game?
game yet?
I think we'll find out probably Sunday nights when the games are over, because
I heard they weren't playing it.
they're not playing it here. So what's going to happen with the records?
I don't know.
Yeah. They're saying like win percentage. There's nothing NFL.com until NFL, the NFL himself says anything.
So
You can't really.
Yeah, Sue just said win percentage on it. So
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, I heard.
yeah. So but I guess that makes sense, because when you think about it, if you're using the percentage would be the same no matter what. But it'd definitely be an asterisk next day. I guess at the end of the day, if Kansas City wins Sunday, or they're playing Saturday, Kansas City plays Saturday, it doesn't really matter, because Kansas City's getting the 1 seed if they win. The only time there'd be a possibility if Kansas City doesn't get the 1 seed is if they lose. So now that comes into a situation if Kansas City wins, say Kansas City loses on Saturday and the Bills win against the Patriots on Sunday, I guess then you go to percentages and make that sense. Same with Cincinnati.
Well, here's the thing though, like what I'm reading, there's so many, I haven't seen anything official from the NFL. That's the thing here. Nothing,
Right.
But bunch of news sources, this one I've never heard of, called Democrat and Chronicle, never heard of you, but
Yeah.
you're saying Bills-Bengals game will not resume. The New York Post is saying the NFL won't resume the game. CBS Sports is saying NFL set to cancel Bills-Bengals game and is now considering some wild scenarios. AP is saying, AP sources, NFL will not resume Bills, but I don't see anything. NBC Sports is saying NFL won't resume Bills-Bengals game. That's
so what
pretty
do they
legit.
do? They just pretend the game never started and just call
I
it?
don't know. There's nothing official. The NFL hasn't released any statement.
Give them a tie. A tie would fuck things up. That would really. I think it's better just not to say the game. Even you would just have an asterisk next to it and say you played one last game that season.
Yeah, they're gonna go by win percentage probably.
Yeah, we'll, and like I said, it only really matters honestly at the end of the day if the Bills lose. I mean, if Kansas City loses, because Kansas City get the 1 seed locked up right now. So I mean, they're playing Las Vegas.
Yeah, imagine the Raiders upset it, which by the way, I'm kind of pissed because I thought the 49ers, the 49ers, they got Jarrett Stidham. They're going to be awesome because I have the 49ers defense in fantasy league. And fucking Stiddy, itty bitty Stiddy, fucking actually gave the 49ers a run for their money and destroyed my defense.
I was, up until that game last week, I was on the 49ers going into the Super Bowl. But now, I don't know. I really don't. I was pretty much set after watching the 49ers play the last 3 or 4 weeks and how they were figuring it out. I was like, this team's making it to the NFC Championship. I think they're the Super Bowl team of the year. I think they're going to play Dallas in the Super Bowl. I mean, Dallas in the NFC Championship. And then I seen Vegas give them a run for their money, and I was like, well, maybe not.
Well, there's always that fluke game. Like I said, playing down to your competition is the thing. You play a shitty team, and you're like, oh, we don't have to play as hard, and then you lose. The Texans have been pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't think the I don't think the Eagles are all they're cracked up to be honest.
I think they're really good. I just don't think they're amazing. They're a good team. They're better than most NFL teams.
Yeah.
I think they're better than the Vikings. They're better than the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah, they're way better than the Vikings. They're better all around anyway. They have a solid defense. They have a great quarterback. They have amazing offensive weapons, and they have an above average running backs.
True.
They're a decent team.
And they're playing. I don't know who they're playing this weekend. I can think of that division team this weekend. I think they're playing.
No, I don't think they're a championship team.
I don't think so.
They're a good team.
Those NFC teams, I really couldn't pick one out that's going to go all the way. They all have their flaws, and you just really can't figure them out. I think it's probably be in the Cowboys will be in the mix. 49ers will probably be in the mix. The Eagles will obviously be in the mix. Don't sit on Green Bay. I mean, they've been hot the last few weeks. All they got to do is win on Sunday, and they're in the playoffs. And I could see them pulling that wild card and kind of cutting through a little bit. And the same with Brady and the Bucks. I wouldn't rest on the Brady and Rodgers. I would not rest on those two. I think there's potential that they win their first game in the playoffs and make things interesting in the second round. But
that's true.
In the AFC, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be KC, Buffalo, and Cincinnati in the mix. I mean, those three teams are going to be who's going to be dodging it out. It's the most important thing is who's coming out of the South. It's probably going to be Jacksonville. And how good is Jacksonville? I don't know. Do they have
potential? Young. They're up and coming, I would say. Yeah.
For a passy?
Yeah.
No clue where it is. We lost it. Do we have an extra? Okay. Yeah, we're searching for that before the show started. We're not sure what happened to it. Thought Tommy ate it. Yeah. Is Jacksonville getting Nick Foles anytime soon? Maybe we can call our friend up from down there and say we can maybe just yell Nick Foles 1,000 times at him and maybe see what happens. But like I mean, honest to God, like if the you know what this might actually help. I guess it really wouldn't matter. Well, it actually would matter because all right. So if the Patriots can beat Buffalo and Cincinnati wins, right? Cincinnati and Buffalo essentially have the same exact record. But then they don't. You goes to the division record. So Cincinnati has a better divisional record, so they get the tiebreaker over Buffalo. So Cincinnati would be the number 2 team, which would mean the Patriots play Cincinnati instead of Buffalo. That is the only. So them not playing actually could help. If the Patriots could beat Buffalo and them not making that game up could actually help the Patriots because they won't have to see Buffalo until the next round. If that,
I don't know how. I was half paying attention listening to the radio, but somehow I'd have to look up. It screws the Seattle Seahawks. I forget why, though. I don't know how, but it screws the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, Seahawks are NFC, though. No, I know.
Who are they playing?
So, no, this is what screw. I know exactly what you're talking about. So, if Green Bay wins, they're in the playoffs. If Green Bay loses and Seattle loses, Detroit's in the playoffs. So, Detroit's dependent on Seattle to lose for them to have a chance to get in the playoffs. So Detroit needs Green Bay to lose and Seattle to lose for them to get a chance in the playoffs. It's a very interesting last week at football because there's only about 7 or 8 teams that have no chance right now, which is pretty good considering there's 32 teams. That means like 66% of the teams have a chance to make the playoffs going into the last week of football, which is basically what they want. I mean, people are bitching that the football kind of sucks this year, but
it does. But this is making it more interesting, sadly,
right?
Because someone was freaking almost died. But
into the fact that there's not really a dominant team, so you don't really looking at it like, like the Patriots all those years were just running away with it. Like you're looking at it right now, like the lineups have been switching. The one there's been about 10 teams every week that are potentially playoff teams, and only 7 of them are making them in each conference. So it's like even the Patriots, like they're gonna go, like I said they're gonna go 9-8. So if they win Sunday, I'll be right. They should be better than 9-8. They should have won a few more games. But you could say they should have lost the game, some of the ones they won too. So who knows? But I mean, that's what I thought. It's gonna be it's a 500 year.
That's what I said. That's what a lot of people said. That's basically New England right there. Everyone expected pretty much what's happening. It's just the way it happened. A little uncomfortable.
And then who would figure like a 500 team would make the playoffs too? Like it would be like look at some of those divisions. Look at the AFC. I mean, the AFC and the NFC South. Those teams are just garbage, and they're making the playoffs of like a sub 500 record.
Yeah, it's gross. It really is gross.
And they get home field, which is like, ugh. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about the guaranteed home field for just to win any division. I don't know.
Yeah, it is gross. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And like I kind of. I wish there was a way. I mean, there is a way, but you just wouldn't. There's a way you just play every team in the AFC and then all the NFC teams play in the NFC, right? So you can make it so every year that because there'll be 16 teams in each league, right? In each conference. So essentially, if every team played the same teams in that conference, right? And then you just have one giant, you don't have East, West, Southwest. You don't have that shit, right? You rank 1 to the bottom, and the top 4 get the home. So you could have 3 teams that would have been in the same division go there. And then the last, what's the way they play? 18 games now? 17 games, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the 17th game every year is an NFC team that just gets mixed up and it alternates over the course of the years. That's probably a fair way to do it, because at the end of the day, every team is playing every single team in that conference. It's an evenly matched playing field. There's only that one game that's a variable that rotates every single year, which is really a nothing game. You know what I mean? But you only play the teams in your division once, but there's no division anymore. It's just a conference. And then at the end of the day, you can say, like, all right, the top 4 teams, you guys get home field, and we'll call it that. And then, I mean, that's the – because you can't have fucking shit teams having home field advantage. It just doesn't.
No, that's horrible. It makes no sense at all.
I mean, you could have a team that has like a very good record. Just for example, all right, look at the NFC NFC East, right? You have 3 teams that are making the playoffs from there, right? And the bottom of that team, you get the Eagles, you get the Cowboys, and you have Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, right? So the Giants are the worst of those 3, but the Giants have like a 10-7 record, right? Which is like 4 games better than the team in the South that's like not going to get a home, that's getting home, and then and Giants won't even see a home at 7 seed. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's nuts. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to move on because this has me like completely just, oh my God, back to the the Idaho killings.
Yes, I get that on the news right now. I'm watching a little bit of that.
So one thing here that really kind of like, that's fucked up. Like, we all know it's fucked up anyway. So everyone wanted to know, like, what do they have on this guy? Because none of the information could be released because Idaho state law is like the information can't be unsealed until he's in the state or in front of a court.
Which is a fine way of doing business, because you don't have to worry about shit leaking out and potentially him getting away, right?
2 things strike me here is, so the one of the 2 roommates who survived the stabbing told investigators she saw a masked man dressed in black in the house the morning of the attack. And according to probate cause affidavit released Thursday in the prosecutor's case, the roommate identified in the document known as DM said she heard crying in the house the morning of the killings and heard a male voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." DM said she then saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. She then described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past her as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male then just walked towards the back sliding glass door.
Just walked out.
Yeah. That is fucked up. Imagine, that is some psychological damage. Like, you get any therapy for life for that. Are you kidding me?
So why didn't she know that anyone got stabbed until the next morning?
Well, she ran into a room and locked the door and didn't come out for a while.
Okay, and she didn't call the police or anything?
Apparently not.
Because from the or this also could just be coming out now too, because the original report was no one was reported until like almost like 11 o'clock the next morning. So if that
Sounds
was
like it probably was earlier, but
maybe it was, yeah. Maybe that was something that just wasn't released. So if that's the case, okay. So why didn't he kill her? Was it because he was just in shock after he killed 3 people, or the other 4 people, or did he have now I'm curious. Did he have like a relationship that he knows some of the other people and he was more friendly with?
Yeah, like you said earlier, like maybe he met her at one somewhere and was rejected. But like the whole like what he said, like if that was what he said, like I'm going to help you. That's some fucking weird shit, man. Like what is that all about? Like,
because if it's like you think it was one person, you target that one person, right? All right, that makes sense. But there was 6 people living in the house. The house didn't look that big, so I'm assuming 2 of the people were. I'm assuming there was some room sharing there, right?
3 floors apparently. The first floor was left fine. Second, third floor that they killed.
Okay. So why did he kill the guy and why did he kill the other 3 people? So I'm gonna go on a limb and say one of the girls was a direct relationship one way or another with that guy, right? So I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, like I said, like a bad Tinder situation or a rejection or something like that, possibly. But then when you look at it, it's like, okay, so that makes sense. So why wouldn't you just kill that person? Did the other person wake up?
You know what it could be too? Like it is dark and they're all young girls. They kind of might all look alike. Oops, wrong room.
Yeah, it could be.
Like
the person. Yeah, that's.
I'm in this room. Like I thought, I guess I got the next one. I don't know, but that's so fucked up. And like, but it's funny how this guy. Well, it's not funny, but it's interesting how this guy is a criminology student, and he must be the worst criminology student ever. And everyone's talking about what a genius guy is. But no, he's not. I mean, he killed somebody indoors, DNA everywhere. They were talking about this on the news, and I was 100% agreeing. Like, you killed somebody indoors, there's DNA probably everywhere. And it turns out you left the case to your knife next to the fucking bed. Like that's
It almost, yeah, like it almost sounds like
you want to get caught, like
right, or like they knew. It's like, oh, what happened here? We still, I said a button. Never a good thing.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're still streaming. It almost sounds like to me they knew who it was all this time, and they just kind of like they didn't think about they were just kind of playing it right now, like like all right, yeah, we know what's going on, so. But they like I don't know. It just seems very weird. I can't wait. I can't wait to know all the details.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the families too, and I get it when I remember early on they were kind of pissed because the police and the investigators weren't telling them anything. But there is a reason for that, because it's like, let's say the police are forthcoming with the families. There's always a risk that they might talk to the media, and the media gets hold of it, and then it gets out there, and then you spook the guy. And he runs off, flees. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand. And to be an investigator, that must suck too. It's like, you can't tell the family certain things, and you probably want to.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
It sucks,
Yeah, but you just you can't, because you and like leaking stuff a little bit to like kind of give you an idea of like who it is. Okay, so why did they leak the car or like look for that particular car? Okay, so maybe they had an idea who it was. And maybe they went to his place and they didn't see the car there. So they were like, okay, where the fuck's this car now? Or maybe they just leaked. Maybe they already knew where he was. Maybe they already knew he was in Pennsylvania and they were just trying to build a case. Or maybe they were setting him up. Maybe they knew he would flee to Pennsylvania.
Well, they pinged his cell phone. They're now able to tie his cell phone to the scene, pretty much.
They're just going to find the weapon.
Yeah. But even now, you don't need that. I feel like, dude, your DNA, there's no reason for his DNA to be in the house. Like his DNA, why is your DNA in that house?
So was it official? His DNA was in the house? Is that?
Yeah, it was located on the holder of the fucking knife.
Oh, okay. Okay, right. Yes, I know you said they found the holder. Okay, yes, that makes sense. So,
there's no reason whatsoever.
OJ's DNA, yeah, Nicole's DNA was all over OJ's car too, and they got away with that one.
Well, see, that actually at least makes more sense because it's OJ's.
Yeah. True.
He doesn't own this property. There is no reason he should be even within 5 feet of that property, let alone his DNA in the house.
So it's kind of weird because it's like, all right, so all this stuff was going on. So it's been 8 weeks, right? Give or take. And like over the course of the first 2 weeks, he was participating in vigils. He was like going to like learn.
Was he?
Yeah. So apparently I read that he went to a campus vigil for a candlelight vigil for the people. Like he it was weird.
I thought he was traveling cross country with his dad, though. I thought his dad was with him at the time.
No, well, he eventually went out there. That's how he got the car out there. I wonder if he told the parents and they kind of went to get him and drove him back, kind of like the guy that killed the girl who they were doing the van living thing.
Yeah,
back to his parents' house. Like I wonder if that was the case. But he also attended classes. They had some special classes at his school about this case because he was a criminal major. And one of his roommates and one of his buddies said he was acting kind of weird when they were talking about it because it was like he was out of his nature a little bit.
I'm not seeing anything that he went to any vigils. I'm seeing he went back to the scene of the crime.
He did.
That's what Rolling Stone is saying. Idaho murder suspect went back to the scene of the crime. Police say.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely more that's going to be coming out in the next couple of days. That's for sure.
It sounds pretty open and shut at the end of the day. I think they'll be able to build a case in no time.
Oh, for sure.
He's probably gonna get the death penalty because I think it's a capital punishment state, Idaho. So they'll kill him.
I hope so. You got to put an animal down, man. You got to put an animal down.
There's no reason to have someone like that, and they'll make the argument it's more expensive to kill someone than it is to keep them for life in prison. I mean, I don't know. How does that work?
True. Another reason he's fucked too is he has a public defender. His family can't afford an attorney. So public defenders, let's face it, they're not exactly, it's pretty rare that public defenders actually win.
The best he'll get is a plea for 4 counts of life in prison. So he's guilty one way or another. It's a matter if he's going to get the death penalty. I mean, if he confesses and says, yeah, it was me, yada, 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 they might be able to give him 4 counts of life prison, 4 life prison sentences with no parole. And case shut. If they really want to go for the death penalty, they'll push that. But I mean, I can't see the guy walking unless he's fucking nuts. Unless that's the only defense he has. He's mentally insane.
Yeah, and you did have to be consistent behavior with that. It's not like all of a sudden you can act crazy and get it. Like if there's like a consistent behavior of him throughout his life showing signs of that, but it doesn't seem that there is. But from a true crime standpoint, it's actually interesting because like how the DNA profile matched, because they had to go through his family's trash. And then they matched it in a database with his family, and that was the hit on the sheath from the knife back at the house in Idaho. So like, was it a 23andMe? Like, because that's happened before where they've actually recovered DNA and they've caught people because of DNA profiles from some of these sites that are used, Ancestry,
That'd be interesting. Yeah. Shit, right? You never know, right? Because it's out there. It's in a database somewhere.
Yep.
Which it's only a matter of time, I think. And I don't know if this is protected under the First Amendment or not, but like when people are born, it kind of goes to the microchip thing. You get chipped. Like they take your DNA when you're born and they put it in a database. It's kind of like a Minority Report a little bit without knowing that you're going to be a murderer or not, but knowing that your database is in a criminal profile. So if you ever do commit a crime, then I guess you're screwed.
You're predisposed. Yeah.
You can't change your DNA.
Yeah, you can't.
I mean, and like, how would that go? Like, wow. I mean, I think most people would be voluntarily, but at the same time, it's also, first the freedom of your right to freedom, not to, you kind of incriminating yourself, but then you shouldn't do the crime anyways. You have to do that argument too. Like,
you still have to do the crime. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I mean, with these days, you can't get away with fucking crimes. There's cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think Jack the Ripper could exist now? Fuck no. No way.
No way. Cell phone. If you have a cell phone and live in a neighborhood, you're being tracked. Your cell phone, they know exactly where you are through the pings of the towers, and every house has a Ring doorbell. So at this point, like it's almost impossible, unless you're like in the middle of nowhere, to be able to
in the middle of nowhere and no motive.
Right.
Like if I know you, I'm fucked. Like I've always said, you're gonna kill somebody you don't know.
And then you get credit cards, you could track those. No one's using cash anymore. I mean, there's a million different ways you could figure it out. They probably knew this. They probably knew the guy 4 weeks ago, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go on a limb and say they probably had a nice idea of who it was. They just were building a case so that you're able to extradite the guy and then get him there and then have no gray area where a lawyer could be like, well, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that right. You know what I mean? And I bet they were keeping an eye on him. They were probably watching him the entire time.
Yeah. They handled it very well. Unlike some investigations, say like the Joan Benet Ramsey case that fucking botched the shit out of it. Same thing with OJ, botched the shit. This was handled very well.
I know that when Scott Peterson, when that whole investigation, when they were trying to figure out who killed his wife, they kept I guess detectives were pretty much staking out his house and watching his moves and everything he was doing to see if because they knew, I think they pretty much knew he did it. They just
hold on, which Peterson is it? There's two Petersons here. I always get confused. Was that the older guy who probably killed, who used to be a cop, who killed a bunch of his wife, or is that the guy on the boat on Christmas Eve?
Boat on Christmas Eve.
Okay, thank you.
Pregnant wife, yeah.
Do you know the other Peterson I'm talking about? That guy who's like three of his wives had magically disappeared. And
yes, I do know that. Yes.
His name was Peterson too. Yeah.
Creepy. Yeah, I guess I was listening to this podcast with Scott Peterson. Apparently, like obviously these detectives know like how you act, your personality traits and all that stuff. You have a lot of tells if you're lying and stuff. So Scott Peterson was like, one of the things was he was like kind of half-assed doing searches for like when they were going out for searches and stuff. Like if you just lost your pregnant wife, wouldn't you be a little more like, you'd be up all night trying to look for her, right? He was pretty much like lackadaisy about it,
I'm thinking Drew Peterson. Sorry. But like the thing, I kind of like go back and forth with certain things like that because like people do handle 10 situations differently. Like they freak out, they freeze. Like there are like how people handle grief is kind of different on a case by case basis. Like you don't really know until you're in the moment. And sometimes you're just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna, what do I do? All right. And it's like, oh, they weren't showing a lot of emotion. They're guilty. No, maybe they just don't know how to fucking process.
That's true.
Yeah. That happens.
I mean, at the end of the day, they'll figure it out. If you're innocent, then I wouldn't worry about it. You know what I mean? It's like, but
true. It's
very, very, very uncommon in this country to be tried and convicted of a murder or any crime for that matter if you didn't do it. The way that it's just as likely as it is you get caught if you commit it. I mean, your odds of getting away with it and being accused is very, very slim. I mean, it's almost impossible. It's just
you would think and hope that's true.
It's Minority Report. It's what we're basically going to be. People are going to be getting arrested for committing a crime they haven't committed yet, just because they know they're going to commit it.
See into the future. Yes.
All right. Getting to the end here.
You remember that, man?
I just took
All
some.
right.
I finally took. I got some Mucinex.
Good. I'm glad you did.
That's supposed to help with like. 'Cause I think I get some phlegm in my lungs. I just can't. It's supposed to get rid of it. So I noticed I've been coughing a little bit more, and a lot of shit's coming up. So hopefully by tomorrow I can stop the fucking coughing. But
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks, man. You got to do something.
yeah, I think I just get some phlegm and fluid in the lungs. That's what I'm at this point. I think that's it. If not, then I probably should go see.
As someone who was the king of bronchitis growing up, I could honestly say I'm almost 100% sure you got bronchitis.
It's yeah, I've got it once and it felt like this. So
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, you plugging anything? Anything going on?
Nope. Tomorrow's Friday. Everybody party hard this weekend.
Yeah, Friday. Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's Friday.
Everybody getting raped.
Yeah, buddy. And you get me on Wicked Explorers, all those websites out there. And we'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad. Happy New Year, by the way. This isn't the first show of the new year. So happy
It
2000.
is.
And we'll see you guys later.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.